Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you may be across the nation or around the world. Once again, you're listening to the VMware Communities Roundtable Podcast. Today is Wednesday, January 7th, 2026. On the show today, we're going to be talking to our favorite community members about the 12 Days of Holiday Cheer blog that we produced around private AI. Every year over the winter break, we do try to publish a blog that gives you something to do during the break, or at least into the new year. So we'll cover that. It's all things you can learn about private AI, from GPUs to LLMs to everything you would need to get your home lab running your own LLM at home. So, but before we do that, Bob, how you doing today?
I'm doing all right. I've been, I had a great holiday season here. I took some time off. I thought about work, and then I played video games with my son, and it was good, and so, but back on track here, back in the cave, looking at security stuff in front of us and doing a bunch of writing about that, publishing new security configuration guides yesterday and all kinds of things. So
I too got a break and had some time off, and just like you, I got out my Oculus. I have nice. Oculus Rift 2 or whatever the current generation is. I think they might have a 3 out now or about ready to, but got it out, played it, and it didn't get sick, so that was good. And played a couple games and had some fun in the virtual world and got used to it again. So a lot of fun to reboot that thing. It's improving every year, right? The hardware hasn't changed, but their ecosystem has started to evolve itself. And then it's fun in the virtual worlds. You get a lot of kids, right? So kids are running around playing in the virtual worlds. Corey Romero out in Utah, how's it going?
It's going great, Eric. I actually felt like I almost retired there for a moment. It felt like it was so long.
I felt that same way. I felt like this is what retirement's going to look like for me.
Retirements. People talked about that like last year, micro retirements, and I'm like, you took a 2-week vacation. Come on, but it is restorative. Yeah.
I don't know when the last time I took 2 weeks. Right, like it's been a while.
It is funny too, because I thought, okay, I won't take the 3 days before Christmas off. I'll do some work, but then I just took it off, right? And I thought, okay, once Christmas is over, that next week I'll come back and I'll start to engage, and I'll probably, I can't stop working. But I know I didn't. I was like, and I felt like that. I felt like, this is retirement. I said, this is first you try to figure out what you're going to do. Then you waste a lot of time doing ridiculous stuff. And then you start doing projects. And the next thing you know, you're like, VMware, what is Broadcom? What is that's, I kind of remember that stuff, but yeah.
Do I still remember my password?
Right. I was just going to say, what's my password?
I had that problem. I did have that problem. Like, what? And then I think I got a password change notice along the journey here in the last 3 weeks. I'm like, oh no, did it change? Am I just not remembering it? I'm like, I don't even know how to restore a password. Like, this is going to be. But yeah, then it comes back. When I put my badge on, I have my badge, right? And go to work, and I put my badge, and there was a little bit of like putting the chain around your neck and going, okay, I've been tethered yet again. But so I had a little bit of feeling like that coming out of retirement, right? But then you start doing stuff, then you realize why you like it, why you're here, and there's making a living, but it's also just fun, and passion kind of creeps back in, right? So it has been good. Shout out to Pablo. I don't know how to say his Aguilar from Argentina. He's in the chat, so on Twitter. So just say, yep, I see you. Nice to see you. Good to be doing that. So Corey Romero, back to you. The Expert apps are still open. The Expert app is up and running today, so that's good. And I assume people are still getting their applications in.
Yep, applications are still coming in. I think we're right around 800-900 applications right now. We got about a week left. Applications will close on December 15th, and we're actually going to have a meeting on this later today. Bob, I think you're part of that meeting as well. We're having the Expert webinar on Brickstorm and VCF security. So that's going to be we're having a meeting on that today. So then I will send out the invite for vExperts later this afternoon.
conveniently,
So,
I've
we'll
been
send
writing
out.
a lot about Brickstorm. So
Yes, yeah.
in fact, somebody DMing me right now about, hey, can you talk to internally about Brickstorm? Yes, I can. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it, Corey.
Was that one of the ones
Absolutely.
that came in a request yesterday, day before yesterday, Corey, that I saw? I forwarded somebody that had a topic they'd really like to cover, but I don't know if that was the one.
I don't receive. I don't
All right.
recall seeing anything like that.
Yeah, all right, I'll make sure I send it over. Maybe I didn't
Okay,
forward it
yeah.
yet, but somebody made a request for a pretty cool topic, and I went, oh yeah, a request with the Corey. Corey, I'm sure would love to do a sub on that topic. So yeah,
Absolutely.
good. Yeah, so okay, exciting. If you're out there and you did some work in the VMware ecosystem, if you're listening to this show, you probably have, apply. You get another year of free advantage this year.
Yep. VMware Advantage.
Yep. Next year, you got to make sure you talk about VMUG Advantage, or we won't renew you. But this year, you get VMUG Advantage in good shape. So why wouldn't you apply? See if you can make it. Yep. Excited about that. And then let's see what else happened over the break. I don't think anything. I think it was pretty quiet at Broadcom. Like there was not a lot going on. And I know now Connect is coming up. So the Netherlands has got their show going. Reg is open for that. We're starting to do some, awareness marketing around the Netherlands. VMUG Connect is this year's UserCon. Costs like $400 to go, something like that. So that one is in the queue now, and we're starting to talk about it and figuring out who's going to be there and what we're going to be covering. And they've got a bunch of stuff. There's going to be a pre-day show, a Birds of a Feather conversations with community members. I think Frank, we've asked Frank Denneman to talk about AI, open kind of Birds of a Feather conversational sessions on that day zero. So excited to know about that. And I know that somebody else committed on security.
Probably Chris McCain or
something. Chris, that was it. Chris, Chris is
in our.
I have to get back
group.
got to get it back into 2026 names, and so Chris McCain has agreed to do a Birds of a Feather session and basically run it, coach it. Right? It's supposed to be kind of unconference like. So you come in, we have some topics, and then everybody sits around and chats, and that's day zero. Then in that evening there will be an activity, opening up the show, and then 2 more days, day 1 and day 2, keynotes and great stuff. So look out for that. If you're in Europe, I think this is the Community Connect for Europe, right? Like there will be Explorer on tours again next year. So we'll have VMUG in those locations as well. So plenty of places to connect with the community. But if you want to be part of the VMUG content, look for that one and make your way over to the Netherlands, right? It'll be good. Right. Other than that, there is one coming up in Minneapolis, Minnesota, right? So,
I'm looking forward to that. My home territory there, and I'll probably.
Yeah, that's. I'll be there. I'll be at that one for sure.
Excellent.
That one's close enough that I can go, and I'm looking at code labs on private AI so that we can take the next step on the mini forums and put some GPUs in it. And William has got that running, so we're going to build a lab for that, and you can come by and do a lab for those 2 days for code. And I'm not sure what we're going to do in the Netherlands, whether we're going to be able to get that gear over there and get somebody to do the lab. We're having some meetings on that later today to talk about how many of these connects do we have the code setups, and can we make sure we have somebody doing the lab at each one of those. And it's really just getting the gear at the place, ship there, set up, and then the lab is easy, and then ship it back to the next location. So we're going to work on that. So yeah, I think that's what's going on now. I don't know if there's any other big VCF news, on the horizon.
Calm before the storm here. If you look at our release schedules that are published on the VCF, on the Cloud Foundation blog, and that, you'll see future activity this spring and things where the roadmap should line up in that. And it's just calm before the storm.
Calm, yeah. That's what I say. I know that I've got meetings showing up where there's going to be a lot of stuff happening, but we haven't done it yet and can't really talk about a lot of that stuff yet. But it's coming. It's coming.
Not a secret. We published it publicly what our intentions are. That the update releases, the old vSphere update releases are gone. now, and they're being replaced by 9.0 is like 8.0, and instead of 8.0.1 update one, it's now 9.1, 9.2, 9.3.
I like that better instead of the numbering system. I didn't like that.
Well, I don't like the letters, like the
Right.
letters just confused everyone. What is 8.0 HS? Just is one greater than the next, then you should go to the greater one, like this integers are a thing, so.
Yeah, exactly. So across the holiday, we did work on a blog about things that you could do for the holiday. We didn't actually publish it till today because we had to wait for approvals, and everybody went on vacation about 2 days before we were done with it. But we did produce something fun to go off and learn. So if you haven't paid attention to the code blog, you can go to blogs.vmware.com/code. That's where we talk about the hackathon. We publish activities that we can do, Home Lab Advantage. It's kind of like our blog that we can put technical content on, and it's usually things that are activities for people either to write code or do something for your home lab, and that's what we do. And we have a code website there, and then we have a GitHub repository. So if you haven't paid attention to code, that's what we got. GitHub repository. We have a code blog, and then we do the hackathons and kind of share what people are doing around code. And this one is just hey, there's private AI out there, and to Bob, your point, you don't have to put this on a mini form. You can find an old machine that has enough megabytes to put VCF9 on it, and if you've got an AI card, or you want to put another $800 into your rig, you can get an AI card then that will you can use for private AI, right? And so, but how do you learn everything you need to know? Because it's a multi-step process. You have to get VCF. You have to understand what cards will work for you. You have hardware requirements, and so there is a little bit of due diligence around what do you need to know, right, in order to get running your own private AI and then be motioning a GPU workload around. And so we thought it'd be fun to put a 12 days of VMware Private AI blog out, and we published it today, so you can go check it out. It's we'll call it the 12 days of Christmas once your Christmas break is over, right?
12 days of Mardi Gras or something. AI Mardi Gras.
Yeah. And
carnival season is about to start here, or if it has.
The reality is, I've done some projects over the break, right? I usually spend a day or two on things, but I kind of start thinking about it, right, and learning it. So it's really more like 12 days of January and February before I get through everything. But yeah, so we did do that, and
I'm mostly just offended by your comment about eggnog. I'm one of those guys that thinks eggnog is kind of disgusting, but
yeah. I don't want to say which AI wrote that intro, but you can imagine that's better writing than I have skill to produce, right? And now VMware allows us to use Google Gemini, so I'm not saying
I like Gemini. Gemini's brutal. I'll give it stuff like, hey, just tell me what you think is wrong with this paper I'm writing, and it's brutal. It's like it called some of my stuff marketing fluff. Well, yeah, I'm in marketing, yes, but like, geez, you can take it easy on me. So
they I just said, please rewrite this. I'm horrible, as an English writer, so please don't give me hints. Just give me.
I like asking it. Yeah, please identify problems, make a list of problems and your suggested fixes. And then I will go back and I will, because it nerfs my tone in that it takes my jokes out. Like, oh, those are unprofessional, that sort of thing. Like, well, maybe, but it removes my tone, and I don't like that. So I'll take its suggestions.
I would say that I'm going to do that next time, because I found the couple things that I did. The few things that I used AI for, it took my tone away, no question, right? And you can almost read it and know that an AI wrote that, because it was
actually
so
like
generic.
You can tell AI slop, like AI stuff that it just kind of smells like it, and and so that'll be the difference. How you tell a human was behind something is it's got some tone. It's not just this gray blob of text, so.
Yeah, that's what I say. So I will do that, but I do confess that that first paragraph of the blog where it says "Ho ho ho, enthusiast! 'Tis the season to deck the halls with GPUs and LLMs in this holiday-themed blogs." I didn't write that.
Yeah.
So
Well, it smells like AI. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fine,
12
whatever.
Days of Christmas Carol is structured learning. Like, okay, I didn't write that for sure. But nowadays we have to have, I actually have to have the comms group review what I write. Broadcom is very, very clean company, and I give them credit. They are very, they want everything very clean. And if I write my own stuff and give them to review, they just rewrite it for me. Right. So this way I save myself the embarrassment of having them rewrite it for me. Yeah.
And just like I said, just giving it to it like, hey, check my grammar and my spelling and stuff like that. Just that's helpful, and it won't nuke all of your stuff. But yeah, no, I really like it. I've been reading through this blog post here, and I think it's kind of funny. Like, on the first day of Christmas, my VCF gave to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. They did that as well. And actually, as we're talking about Broadcom, I do like Broadcom. We are Broadcom, and I like that when I got this, I went through and got rid of all the Christmas references. Right. And I called it second day of holiday. Right. And I edited all that. And one of the reviews I got back when I did have it reviewed is they're like, why aren't you using Christmas here?
Yeah.
And I went, well, it's been
not everybody celebrates Christmas, but
yeah, not everybody does. And so, but the song is the 12 Days of Christmas, right?
Yeah,
So they were like, it matches the song. It's okay. Yeah. You can use that. And I was like, oh, that's nice of them, right? Like they gave me some positive, happiness that I could go back and go to the theme of the Christmas song, right?
Well, it's kind of like what we've been talking about with AI. It doesn't, it can have some character to it. Christmas has got character to it, and the other holidays, the other holidays do too. And so, yeah, whatever.
But, so anyway, so let's see. GPUs. They started with, go read, and there are 4 or 5 references, blog articles from VMware, blog articles from NVIDIA, Tech Field Day blog article, just to get a sense of what GPUs are out there, right? And what GPUs private AI uses, right? And capabilities and features for the GPUs. So there's some general, hey, go learn about the GPUs that are out there, NVIDIA A100, the H100 or the L440S, and understand the use cases of the different GPUs, because there are some GPUs that are really good at AI models from NVIDIA, and there are some GPUs that are just good at video, right? And they're okay at AI inference modeling, right? And so slight differences between the NVIDIA GPUs, right? I don't think I got into the Intel or AMD GPUs. I know we announced the support of those, but I don't have anything on that. I just have focused on the NVIDIA GPUs, right? So little GPU reference learning, right? Which is, I think, day one, right? Easy, just go read it. You don't have to do anything. No programming involved, right? Just, yeah, first day, go read and learn about GPUs.
Second day, yeah. GPU virtualization techniques. Look at that. There's several of them.
Yeah, multi-tenancy, multi-instance GPU for partitioning resources, right? So now you get into virtualization for GPU management, and there's a great blog on that, Extreme Performance Series, time slice vGPUs versus MIG vGPUs. I don't know the difference between time slice GPU versus MIG GPU.
Tony can probably tell us.
Yeah,
I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Cool. Okay, for some reason I thought I was having audio issues. So multi-instance GPU goes in and breaks down the GPU into physical separate pieces. Whereas time slicing, and that's the old name for it, just goes, we have this whole GPU and we're going to give you a bit of time on it. So MIG, multi-instance, You get
Okay, right,
an
right.
actual proportion of physical resources, whereas time slicing, you get all the resources for a given amount of time.
Cool.
Right. Makes sense. There you go. Day 2, learning multi-instance GPU management versus time slice. Nice. And then some resources around that, blog article, a couple blog articles, Cloud Foundation. So again, just reading, right? Nothing that requires any kind of engineering or setup yet. So you can get into the first couple days by just learning some stuff and reading and giving you a list of things you can learn. So that third day, supported LMs and AI models, right? And then gives you the list of AI models that are out there and some activity to learn which AI models you would like to use, right? Depending, small ones, medium ones, big ones, embedded ones,
Well, and just the idea that
yeah.
there's different models for different things too, like that's kind of wild. That's the first time some people will see this as like, this table itself, like, what's a re-ranking? What's a routing model? And the big models, the frontier models, the Claudes of the world, the Geminis and all that stuff have little models in front of them to figure out what you're asking and where it should go. Who should it ask on the back end, and so it's kind of wild.
Yeah, it is. And we all talk AI, but then when you get into it, there's quite a bit of interesting stuff to learn to learn the structure of things. Yep. So fun. Again, just some resources, a blog article, a guide, NVIDIA guide, so you can kind of see how they're laying that out. Then compute resources, right? Like how much compute do you actually need to run, certain LLMs, right? Because I've heard this and I hear Tony say it, oh yeah, you can run a little model over here, right? On X amount of, CPU, right? And GPU. So understanding that, and there are some nice, articles out there on how much memory you need for the models, right? Yeah, and 9.0, what do they expect? So yeah, a little bit of learning there on day 4. I think you could probably do all of this in like 4 hours, in day 1 through 4. So I'm thinking that the reading materials for each one of these is maybe an hour and a half per day, right? So pretty light to get you going. 5th day, memory resource optimization.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bane of everyone's existence right now.
Yeah, that and the price of memory.
That's the bane. Yes. Well. So that
Absolutely.
memory tiering in VCF9 looks really attractive lately. So.
Well, memory tiering. Oh, right, because he uses SSD for extra memory. Yeah. Yep. No question about that. I think memory tiering requires a certain memory controller, though. So for home labs, I'm not sure that your average, tower that you've had for, the last 3 years is going to have the memory controller to do tiering. So, look that up. Right.
Not necessarily. It just uses a supported NVMe device. So like I've just got on my one set of my home lab gear, I've got they're just Samsung Pro 990 NVMe devices or whatever that I can do memory tiering with. So it's actually a lot more flexible than
I could be wrong, but I thought the memory controller had to have a certain feature set, not the memory itself, but the controller on your board.
The maybe the ones I've got the ones I've got supported. It's got to be fast, obviously. But the other thing too that might be playing in here is the mirroring. If you wanted to do memory tiering, the mirroring to an NVMe device, that wasn't. That mirroring in some cases needs some specific hardware.
Yeah, that might be it. And it was only because we had to find the mini forms that had the right memory controller on it to be able to, that was one of the requirements.
Yeah, but my mini S forum, my mini forum gear, that's one of my clusters. And one of the drives in there is I'm using it for memory tiering. In fact, I just noticed that one of my VMs was like 400 gigs in size or whatever. I have no idea how it got that way the other day, but the misconfiguration, scripting error on my part. But it was, that works really well. So
yeah. Next 6 days, 6 day is networking, right? For AI workloads, no less, right? And there's a blog article on it, right? For vMotioning GPU VMs, right? So gotta have your,
and the ability to move the stuff around. That's actually one of the huge advantages of the private AI stuff. Right click on this and you move your AI that just got banned to a non-extradition country. Heck yeah, see you later.
Yeah. No, I didn't deep dive read the blog article. It's at blogs.vmware.com, Cloud Foundation 2025-0619, enhanced vMotion for vGPU VMs in a VMware Cloud Foundation 9.0 environment, right? So it's kind of good to have that article up in front of you. And I did not read it all. I'm going to go back and read it because I'm curious to see what is specific around GPU accelerated workload domains. Like what do you need? What's the difference between an AI cluster versus a regular cluster? I can't imagine there's a lot of difference, right? But maybe.
But Justin, one of my direct teammates, excellent materials from him on how all this stuff works, and that worth reading more of his stuff.
Yep. Seventh day, storage and data, right? You got to put the data.
You got to feed the monster somehow.
Yeah, put the monster. Yep. So vSAN, features like vSAN AI data, right? Like some of this stuff, I'm like, oh, I haven't used that yet either, right? Like, okay, right. So again, some resources to learn how that works. That's a little bit light section. When I look at the content here, it's kind of like, okay, there is some vector database data features, right? And there's a vSAN 9 blog article, which is, okay, it's all 9 vSAN. So, okay.
Yeah, and Data Services Manager is what's being used by private AI services to deploy vector databases. It's the vector version of Postgres, and so it's all built in. It's ready to go. Yeah, so
nice. Yeah, that's what I'd say.
The vector DB is basically the highlight of this. Though, if you like big hardware, these HDX servers, that article, 8 giant GPUs on a pretty beefy Intel server, that sort of thing, all bundled together from NVIDIA. That's it's kind of wild. And that, and some of the big organizations buy many of these things and run them all in parallel.
Yeah, some of this stuff is pretty big definitions, right? And that's fair enough, right? Then at 8th day, well, nobody really cares about the 8th day because this next one, I tried to remove it, but the VCF team wouldn't let me. But I was like, who cares about security and compliance?
I don't know anybody on this call that
cares about that
sort of stuff.
Right?
But we're writing a new paper. We're rewriting the AI security paper right now, in fact. But best practices, governance, can you trust the models? How are the models biased? That's who trained them. What did they get trained on? There's AI will keep security people in business for decades at this point. So.
And when I was putting this blog together, I had AI help me, right? And I had to fix probably 70% of what it came up with, right? It wasn't that good, right? It was fine, it was good, and it knew how to spell Christmas, right? And but you started drilling down on things it recommended, and I'm like, no, that's not even close, right? That's not even in the right ballpark, right? So it still needs personal help, and certainly, like you say, do you trust what you're doing here, right?
Yes.
And do you trust what the models are doing, and do you trust the model itself? Is the model been corrupted by somebody, right?
Would you bet your job on it?
Right.
Nope, not me, not it. Can it help me immensely? Yeah, it can. But does it need supervision? Yes.
So. And if you look at even a lot of the articles in this 12 days of holiday cheer, a lot of them are blogs.vmware.com XYZ because you got to really trust even what we're pointing you at, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like, okay, I'd much rather point you at a VMware blog on the topic than so tech docs blogs. If you look at a lot of these references, there's a couple that are external, right? That came up that I reviewed and they were good and they were, reliable, and I felt they added value. But a lot of things you kind of go, okay, this one is a good one from VMware, right? Because
Well, the thing is, you get AI slop generating AI generating AI slop that it's self-referential.
AI inbreeding, baby. Yep.
Yeah, and it's the dumbing down of content.
Dumbing down.
And that's well, we've been in technical marketing. We've been talking about this, as tools become more available, Gemini and things like that. These. Well, and the other thing too is that these LLMs don't know anything we haven't taught them already. They don't really.
Right.
How will it talk about VCF 9.1 when it comes out if I don't give it the information? If I don't publish something first that it can read, that sort of thing. So
right, and I felt like even now, this blog article, if some AI is going to scrape this,
oh, absolutely, right? Probably
and generate answers based on this blog article and maybe the traffic it receives or whatever, and that's classic AI inbreeding because I used AI to help me. Now like I said, only used maybe 30% of it, right? Because the rest of it wasn't any good.
Yeah, well, that's the difference.
Right.
You went through and you edited it to make sure that it's,
right, and deleted stuff and went and found other resources, and it was a tool. It helped. It got me going. That's what I would say. A lot of times doing these kind of projects is just getting started is the work, right? So writing the paragraph about eggnog,
even just getting an outline, something rough draft that you can start hacking on, that's a step
picking it apart. That's right. And I would say normally it would have taken me a month to write this blog article, right? We had to have it in the back burner, try to get to it, do a section, and this it was like 4 days, 4 or 5, by the time I got it, through this, which it helps, for sure. Then after security, they go into home lab setup with a GPU. There's some good articles on that you can go read. And those are external articles from the community, which I thought were good. VMware GPU Home Lab Part 1, they have a whole, series on how to get started building your home lab with a GPU in it. Like, I think Tony Foster was, one of the references I found, and I deleted it because Tony Foster.
That's weird.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. It's out of date. I need to update it.
That's all good. Yeah.
Oh,
Bob, you mentioned, but I don't know if you were talking or just him and hawing, but I'll be quiet for a second in case you have something relevant to say.
I got nothing, man. Go ahead.
You got it. All right.
Hunting Tony a little bit. That's all.
Yeah. Got it. Then on 10th day of Christmas, of course, we have to promote getting your Advantage Home Lab license, right? Where to go learn that. Look at my own blog showed up in there. Isn't that cool? Blog.vmware.code.
It's funny how AI finds those things.
Yeah, I know. I was like, wow, there you go. Some more inbreeding. That's Eric inbreeding. My blog references my blog, right? So yeah, there you go. But then how to go get your VCP, because you got to get your VCP to get your home lab licenses. So all of you know how to do that, and so that's fine. But we put it in here for people and point you at the VMUG Advantage membership website, and get you going there. And a lot of people have now managed to get their Advantage stuff going. We have a new release coming out on January 17th for those people that took a VCF and a VCP certification in 2024. They discontinued that certification, and so if you had that certification, the Advantage portal just goes, sorry, you don't have a valid VCP any longer. But honestly, that even though they discontinued it, you might have taken it last year, so it should be good for 3 years. So we're fixing that, and that goes out on January 17th for anybody that's listening. Otherwise, people are getting their licenses and deploying, and so happy about that. That's the the 10th day, 11th day, how to get and installing VCF 9. So you got your license, you want to get it installed, setting it up, points you at the building home lab environment. There's a nice mattadam.com has a good one. Thinking out loud, thinking outcloud.org has a nice one, and then we point you at the release notes of VCF 9 as well. So by now you should be able to install VCF 9. If you don't, there's plenty of stuff you can do, including using the SCDC manager and getting your vSAN setup going. So all good there. And
I
then
really like Matt's. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but
Yeah, go ahead,
I really like Matt's blog format here. Like, I don't know, maybe it's just the old school text-based interfaces that reminds me of, or whatever. But it's just clean. It's just simple, and I like it. So,
yeah, I still use VI for a lot of editing. I've been coached, that I need to stop that, but I'm like,
why? It works.
I know it works, right? And look at AWS. AWS, they do all of their meetings through, you put a document together and then you just follow through the document. And I'm like, that's what VI is. Like it's text-based agenda with text-based references, and I put URLs in there, and I go crazy. I get it, right? They're like, put it on in Google so that everybody can share it. That's that's the complaint. Because when I use VI for this stuff, it's on my local machine, right? Yep. And nobody can go edit it, right? Like it's mine.
I mean, you can store it in Box or something like that to share it out. That way,
but that's different. You're better off just putting it in a Google Doc so that then everybody can add to it, right? And they got a point there. So I'm slowly, but I do like. I like the boot prom. I like command line everything. If I could live I think when I die on the tombstone, it's going to have some kind of shell script on it, or something, text.
I will be sure that that's added.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate that. Right.
Yes.
Exit zero.
My favorite boot prom command, or I don't care anything, just anything that's text based. Right?
Yeah. Does it need to be a bash shell?
No. In fact, it should just be whatever it is should be open in a VI editor, right? Like so that.
Yes.
Yeah.
You finally figured out how to quit. Yeah.
Right. Die. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I know Emacs as well, right? Emacs. I'm an Emacs.
Yeah. Oh my God, I never really took to Emacs.
I liked it when I was writing code because it is very good at code split windowing and including code and doing so it's a whole new environment. But the problem I didn't like was the control key. You have to curl your little finger back underneath the control key to get at all the functions, right? And
that's why Unix workstations had the control key up where caps lock is now generally.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, so that you could do that. So then the final day, once you get your lab up, help me vMotion a GPU workload, right? Yeah. And that was the end goal of the whole thing, right? Is if you manage to get through the 12 days of Christmas, you should successfully vMotion a workload around, right? Which is, I don't want to say badass, but it's badass, right? That's awesome. If you get that far down the article. Now, how many people actually make it to the 12th day and actually make it? That's like a 6-month process if I were to guess, right? Like
you need 2 GPUs, but
yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's a whole nother. But kind of in the end, at the end, you show the finish line, and it's so far away from what you think it is that you're curses, right? And go, I can't. How am I going to do that 12th one, right? Like, that's where we should put at the end. And if you get here, we give you a free lifetime supply of Cheerios or something that we know you're never going to be able to get there. So no one's going to actually get to the point where they return it, saying I want my money back, right? Like it's like.
Well, all the stuff warms your heart, just mostly the heat coming off the GPUs, but cold in the winter here in the northern hemisphere.
Yeah. And 2026, I think it's a good way to move forward. I know a lot of us aren't managing AI workloads yet, right? But but they're out there and they're coming. And so get ahead of the curve and spend some time, invest in yourself and invest in your knowledge and all the terminology and it'll come. I think it'll come in handy by the end of 2026. Right.
Yeah. Well, and as people refresh their hardware too, a lot of the stuff requires, people aren't going to go back to the well to get funding for GPU stuff on 3-year-old hardware or 4-year-old hardware. But as they're getting quotes for the new stuff, hey, why don't we put some GPUs in a few of these, and VCF 9.1, all that stuff is going to have the private AI services in it, and it's starting to click, and so it'll all come together. It's like the A-Team. I love it when a plan comes together. And so, but anything that requires hardware is basically on a 3 to 5 year time frame. So it'll happen.
Nice. Yep. Absolutely. Yes, it will. Right. Well, as we come up to the end of the hour, I know we've been just streaming along here we got a late start, so it's still 40 minutes, but I do have a hard stop at the top of the hour because I have to be somewhere else. And so I have to get in my car. I podcast out of my garage still, but I am going to get to the campus one of these days when they unblock the StreamYard ports. Hopefully in January 2026, I can stream at work. But so I gotta get back to work for more meetings on campus. It's going to be
right. Your scooter?
No, it's too cold. I looked at it and I went, oh, look, it's clean, and I got a new battery for it. So
nice.
And a new seat, and I polished the plastic with a plastic scrub, so it's ready, but it's still too wet. It rained. We had a ton of rain.
Yeah,
we had a lot of rain. Yeah. Like the storms ended yesterday, but we had storms of heavy pounding rain. Reminded me like Florida, right? Like we were.
Oh, wow.
It was sheeting down for a while, right? And I was like, yeah.
And that all goes up in the mountains. How many feet of snow did they get?
I know they got snow. I don't know how much. I didn't check the news. I wasn't following the news that closely to know, but I know they didn't have any snow, and they were all super excited that everybody was going to be able to ski over once the storms got going. So good times there. But I would say we did have a sunny moment there sometime over the holiday break, and I did get some tri-tip out and and seasoned it up and I had some dry Kingsford charcoal, managed to keep some dry. Not all of it was dry, but enough of it. I had to go through the bin and find the dry pieces that were not soggy. Put it in there, put some lighter fluid on it, got it going, and did up some tri-tip, and you can never. It was good. It was a nice tri-tip for the. You don't get that much barbecue in December, January, but I did it, and I was glad I did, because it was, man, you can just cut that up, slice it up, and eat it for the whole holiday. No problem.
Right. Awesome.
Yeah. My house is under construction right now. We're remodeling the whole first floor, and so we've actually moved out, and it kind of pains me. I was telling my daughter the other day that I really miss the wintertime barbecue stuff that I have always done. Like throw a couple of pork butts on there in the middle of the winter and just let her ride. But
I had guests over last night, and it was a work day, so I didn't really have the time, but I wanted to just smoke some ribs. I was like, I haven't had ribs since the summertime, and the last time I did it, I burned them because I got distracted. We went to a grocery store to come back, and we came back and we forgot to turn off the smoker. So they weren't burnt, but they were dry, right? And normally my ribs are the best thing I got going, right? 3, 2, 1 or whatever it is, and I get it, and they're amazing. Smoking them with different apple, some apple juice inside, that do it all right, and it comes out deep red inside with beautiful barbecue. It's amazing.
Making me hungry.
I wanted to do it yesterday, but I didn't have time because I had to work all day, and you really need you need 6 hours to smoke. So I ended up just getting some salmon, and I seasoned up the salmon, but I didn't smoke it. But now I want some ribs. Yeah. I'm gonna wait till the weekend, I guess. Football's still on, right? Or do they take a break? I think football's still on this
pro
weekend.
Football is, yeah.
Yeah, pro. Yes. Yeah, the
college
is done. Yeah, but so I think what I'm gonna do this weekend is Go up to Piazzas and get some high quality ribs, because if you don't get high quality ribs, they're not as good, right? You get the Costco ribs and they got too much fat on them and a little bit too much for me. But if I get the high quality ribs, which are expensive, but at the premium grocery stores, and then you smoke those, yeah, there's nothing like it. So
cool.
Corey, what about you? Anything, or are you still just digging out snow?
Yeah, we don't have any snow in my house. Like I literally might have an inch on the ground, if that. We've had snow at the house 2 times this year. Other than that, all the storms have just been rain.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
hey, you know what it averages
Don't have
out.
much here.
You've certainly paid for this privilege. You in the last those years that you had 18 feet of snow, you were basically constantly shoveling. Right, so you deserve a break. You deserve a mild winter, right? Like, happy times. We say this, knock on wood. You never know when beast of a storm could come through. All right, well, beginning of 2026. Good to see everybody. I'm excited for the year. Lots of stuff going on. Go check out VMUG Connect. Get yourself to a VMUG meeting. Lots of stuff to learn. So, till then, nice seeing everybody.
Yeah, take care.
Later, all.
Yep.